Now, turning to Blaustein 12, which is page 4 of this exhibit, and there's a 3 at the top, correct?
Yeah.
And then to the right, it says, that says Amber fiance, correct?
Correct.
And then there's
work through anger, just below that.
And where it's saying work through anger, is that referring to his anger towards Amber?
I think what he was saying then is that part of his goal of therapy was to work through anger that he and his fiance had towards each other. Then going back to the left, better with girl about it. Self-destructive, hard to not put in front of me.
You know what self-destructive, hard not to put in front of me means? Is referring to?
I think the self-destructive was his drug use. That's what I think referring to at this time.
I'm now looking at Blaustein 13, which has a page 4. Are you there?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And at the top it says Johnny/Debbie, correct?
Correct.
All right. And then the date, it says 10/what?
That's 10/7.
And so it says JD 10/21/14, correct?
Correct. A lot of things, work, intense work, fatigue. Need a minute. Here I can say with certainty, his words, shit with my girl.
And what's that referring to?
Difficulty he was having with Amber.
Do you recall what he was talking about, what difficulty he was having with, Mr. Depp was having with Amber?
No.
The next line looks like it says she refuses to accept.
Correct.
Do you know what Amber refuses to accept? What Mr. Depp was referring to?
Nope.
And to the right, it says Amber what?
Amber wedding.
Were you talking at this point about potentially Mr. Depp and Amber marrying?
Yes, he was talking about that. Yes.
Okay. And then what does it say under she refuses to accept?
Wedding February.
And then what's next?
May not want to go to marriage, 51 years old.
Were there any discussions that you had with Mr. Depp where he had concerns about the age difference between him and Amber?
I don't think so. No.
Okay. But what does it say under 51 years old?
A lot of life experiences. You're being my mother and psychotic sister.
What did you understand Mr. Depp was referring to where you wrote, "You're being my mother and psychotic sister"?
I think that's something that he said to, he told me, he said to her. That
Mr. Depp said to Amber, "You're being my mother and psychotic sister"?
That's what I would think, yes.
Okay. Then the next line.
High tolerance for marijuana.
Who has a high tolerance for marijuana?
He did.
All right, turning to the next page, which is Blaustein 15, and where I have a number 5 on the top there. What is it? Self-something?
Self-destructive very early.
And was Mr. Depp talking about himself being self-destructive very early?
Yes.
Okay. How is Mr. Depp describing that he was self-destructive?
I think, I don't recall, but let's continue and maybe something's there.
So he was trying to be sober from booze and pills, correct?
Correct.
Okay. And then was it you who said reward?
Yeah, asking him about where can he get rewards elsewhere. Where did he get reward? I maybe asked him, where did he get rewards elsewhere? And there he said, in the past, MDMA, ecstasy, cocaine.
So what did you understand where he wrote MDMA, ecstasy, cocaine?
I'm not quite sure, but those are things that he had used in the past. There is another possibility that I had asked him specifically about that, but I don't think so. I think it's more likely that those were things he had used in the past.
Do you know what pills Mr. Depp was referring to be sober from?
I know oxycodone was a main thrust at that time.
And then it says, back to the left, it says left off.
Yeah, and that's probably a note to myself to try to get back to. Left off a reward loop mechanism, and it's parallel to a relationship. What kinds of rewards could come back to him that could be healthy? What kinds of rewards that could come from the relationship that could be healthy? And then talk about biology changes. So I made a note to myself there to talk about how the brain changes in the face of many of these drugs over time.
Did you talk with Mr. Depp at all that his brain can change as he continues to take these drugs?
Yes, I did.
And then it says 10/27/14.
More on relationship issues, being accused, in his word, of being manic, grounded by seeing children. Son is one of the positive aspects of the relationship. I assume he's talking about his past relationship there.
Mr. Depp was saying that Amber reminded him of his mom and his psychotic sister.
But the relationship reminded him of his relationship with his psychotic sister and his mother, yes.
And Mr. Depp talked about that he was being accused of being manic.
Yes.
Did he say who accused him of being manic?
I assume from this it was Amber.
Turn to the next page, Blaustein 16. Yeah, and this is 10/29/14 at the top.
Mm-hmm. Mood euthymic.
What does that mean?
Attention. Normal mood. Attention decreased.
You mean by
memory
attention decreased?
Difficulty with attention, paying attention. Memory, transitional difficulties.
And what do you mean by having transitional difficulties with his memory?
It would have been part of a mini mental status test that I would have done in the first session, where he would have trouble holding on to memory of things from 5 minutes ago. If I asked him to remember 3 words, he would have had difficulty remembering those 3 words 5 minutes later after distracting him with other conversation.
Right. And then what does it say after that?
THC, a marijuana, as part of issue, tetrahydrocannabinol. That's what THC stands for.
So you saw THC as an issue with Mr. Depp's memory and attention, is that right?
Well, with the transitional memory, at least, yes. Perhaps the attention. MSE, mental status examination. More present, more attention. Off on dates. When I would ask him about what today might be, what today's date was, perhaps, is what that's referring to.
So Mr. Depp was off on
what date that was. Date.
Turning to the next page, Blaustein 17. It says JD at the top, and then 11, 10, 14. See that?
Yep, I have that.
Okay. And Mr. Depp came in to see you on 11, 10, 14?
Correct.
Okay. And what's the first line say?
Some clouding, probably secondary to THC.
What do you mean by clouding?
Would have been something in confusion or something about his mental state, or less sharp, less alert, perhaps.
What's the next line say?
It says no evidence of mania, hypomania.
What do you mean by that?
I didn't see in his presentation any evidence of mania or hypomania.
Okay. Next line.
Discussion about relationships, core issues of trust. Amber says context, contact. Don't know.
Okay.
Fruitless meeting with her therapist.
Did you ever observe Mr. Depp with mania or hypomania in any of your other sessions?
Not that I recall.
At 10:24:14, Mr. Depp came in for another individual session, correct?
11:24:14.
The first line says 15 minutes late.
15 minutes late. Clear. Relationship stabilizing. Looking at jealous parts of him.
What do you mean by that, looking at jealous parts of him?
Things that make him jealous and what his role might be in jealousy.
And what made Mr. Depp jealous?
Well, about what was happening there, but with Amber, I don't know. I can't recall. I see in my next notice, it was a triggering point. On my next notice, triggering point, early breakup at 22, where an actress cheated with a leading man.
So was Mr. Depp jealous of Amber being with other men?
I don't remember that specifically.
Okay. And turning to Blaustein 18, which looks like it starts at 12:7:14.
Yeah.
Mr. Depp came in for an individual session.
Correct.
And then it looks like you have paranoia in quotes.
Mm-hmm. Would have been his word. And what he meant by that, the elements were fear, envy, and vigilance.
So Mr. Depp told you something about paranoia?
Mm-hmm. Well, as he defined it.
And his elements of paranoia were fear, envy, and vigilance, as he told you. Then there's, what's the next day, 12:18:14?
Yeah, let's see. 12:18:14, yes.
And Mr. Depp came in for a session.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Patient working. So psychotherapy on phone. It says possible there was a phone session that I didn't mark as a phone session. Big fight with girlfriend yesterday. Struggling with how to separate. Let her tell you her feelings. Relationship needs to take care of you. Her to go to a safe zone, withdraw. Different than childhood experiences.
And then it's at 1:6:15, correct?
Correct.
And what are these notes say?
Patient late, 20 minutes. Positive hypnotherapy session. Goals to make a beeline to bed. Using relationship to take care of the individuals. Let's see. Not logical approach to Amber's work. Take care of emotions. Sobriety continuing.
And then Blaustein 20, can move down to the last page. And this is for 1-8-15, just to be clear.
1-8-15, correct. Slate, vulnerability, woman in studio who admired Amber. Threat.
What did that mean? What did you understand that to be?
That probably related to your prior question, that there was a woman who admired her that he felt jealous of. Let's see, the next thing is something of vulnerability. Instances of vulnerability. An internal fear parallel to vulnerability in childhood. Inability. Free or fight, only way.
What does that mean, free or fight, only way?
Free or fight, or free and fight is the only way. And my understanding of that is either to be free of the relationship or fight for it. And positive relatedness with Amber through dash vulnerability.
Did and 1-8-15 was the last time you saw or spoke to Mr. Depp as a patient, correct?
I believe that's true.
Did Mr. Depp describe to you at all how his jealousy would present itself, whether he was jealous of a man or a woman in relation to Amber?
It would make him angry. It would make him feel insecure.
Your next witness.
Your Honor, our next witness is Eric George. He was the attorney for Amber relating to the op-ed.
Will you please state
All right.
your name for the record?
Sure. Eric George, E-R-I-C. Last name is George, G-E-O-R-G-E.